केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
The Newshour Special Edition.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to Newshour Special Edition. I'm Prathibha. Debate number one this evening is resignation is done, but what next? Is it a rare and defining moment in India's politics? And whose victory is it? The students or the oppositions or democracy? And with this resignation, has the government taken the wind off the opposition sails? Debate number two this evening is Gen Z, as it remains the buzzword we decode. Should Gen Z be in the parliament next? Revanth Reddy, the Telangana Chief Minister, says that it's time to lower the age for contesting the Lok Sabha polls to 21. So we invite our viewers to join us in this conversation. But let's begin with the protest, the resignation and the road ahead. Because weeks of relentless protests, sloganeering and all-night vigil in Jantar Mantar has finally ended. Finally, the streets have gone silent. But it's come after a lot of efforts from the government. The Modi government's assurance of a big cleanup act in the education system. Dharmendra Pradhan has exited, Prahlad Joshi has taken over the education minister, and 47 NTA officials have been sacked. And finally, after a week of disruptions, the stage is all set for a strong anti-paper leak bill in the parliament tomorrow. And just a day before the all-important debate, the Prime Minister's Connect with Gen Z continues. The Prime Minister has released yet another video message for the youth of the country. In his Instagram outreach connecting to the youth, the Prime Minister confirmed that the government has formed a high-powered task force which has been given the responsibility of overhauling the examination process.
फ्रेंड्स, विद्यार्थियों के भविष्य के लिए भारत सरकार लगातार अनेकविध कदम उठा रही है। जिन लोगों ने विद्यार्थियों के भविष्य के साथ खिलवाड़ किया, वे जेलों में सड़ रहे हैं। हमने फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट बना चुके हैं। हम कल पार्लियामेंट के अंदर भी कठोर कानूनों के प्रावधान के साथ नया कानून बनाने की दिशा में भी आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। लेकिन हमें भविष्य के लिए सोचना है। हमारी परीक्षा पद्धति विश्वस्त हो, हमारी परीक्षा पद्धति ट्रांसपेरेंट हो, हमारी परीक्षा पद्धति में सबसे ज्यादा टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग हो। इन सारी बातों को ध्यान में रखते हुए विश्व प्रसिद्ध टेक्नोलॉजी एक्सपर्ट श्रीमान नंदन नीलेकनी जी के नेतृत्व में एक हाई पावर टास्क फोर्स बनाने का निर्णय किया है, जो एग्जामिनेशन रिफॉर्म की तरफ फोकस करेगा और जल्द से जल्द आने वाली परीक्षाओं की विश्वसनीयता को सुनिश्चित करने का काम इसके रिपोर्ट के आधार पर कर दिया जाएगा। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
So this was the Prime Minister's message to the youth. Now the protesting students are back home after the government accepted all of their demands. So one would hope that the steps taken so far by the government will be enough to also convince the opposition and finally have a debate in the parliament. But now it appears the opposition has a fresh set of demands to make, because the TMC is now demanding the resignation of the Home Minister, citing the police action against the protesting students. And then you have the DMK that has reiterated their long-standing demand to abolish the NEET itself. Rahul Gandhi says the Prime Minister must apologize to the country. He has further demanded accountability from the centre following the police crackdown on the students, and he used the opportunity to also call for an end to the regime altogether.
Resignation is a huge step in rebuilding our education system. It's a symbolic step because he was a symbol, but it is still a big step. And I want to congratulate every single student, every single youngster who came out on the streets and fought for democracy. It's also a signal to other parts of society, farmers, laborers, poor people, anybody who this regime is attacking and oppressing. There is wisdom and courage in standing up. Daro mat, let's get rid of this regime that is attacking India, destroying our constitution, capturing all our institutions. And the final demand that the Prime Minister of India, out of respect for the students of India, out of respect for the future of India, has to apologize to the students who were brutalized and attacked.
And now that Dharmendra Pradhan is no longer in the picture, the focus has shifted to the other ministers as well, because the BJP is asking for accountability in the states ruled by the opposition parties. Because the BJP says, if it is about accountability, what about examinations in Himachal Pradesh that were cancelled under the Congress government in 2022? What about the examinations that were cancelled in Jharkhand due to exam malpractice in 2024? And interestingly, even the Congress is now demanding the resignation of the Punjab Education Minister over the pharmacy officer test conducted earlier this year, where the operations of a cheating racket were uncovered. What about the accountability in these cases? And not to forget, you also had the TET paper leak in the state of Maharashtra just a few weeks earlier, which is a BJP-ruled state. So who's accountable for these, and what is the action that will be taken?
फार्मेसी पेपर लीक वाज नॉट अ पेपर लीक, इट वाज चीटिंग. जो लोग बच्चे चीटिंग कर रहे हैं उनको मौके पर पकड़ लिया. दूसरा ये है कि दैट वाज नॉट माय डिपार्टमेंट, वो मेरे फेलो कलीग का डिपार्टमेंट है, पर कैबिनेट की कलेक्टिव रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होती है, सो आई कैन नॉट रन अवे, है ना. इसलिए मैं पर ये लोग बोलेंगे पूरा, अब मैं देख रहा हूँ कुछ वक्त मुझे टैग कर करके कि अच्छा जी फार्मेसी. सो इट वाज नॉट माय डिपार्टमेंट. सेकंड थिंग, एंड इट वाज नॉट अ पेपर लीक. मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट वाज चीटिंग व्हिच वाज कॉट रेड हैंडेड एंड पुलिस टुक एप्रोप्रिएट एक्शन.
Now, after years of a perception of an invincibility, is this a turning point in politics? That's the question. Let's open this up. We have guests joining us this evening. Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. Tushar Gupta, political analyst. We have Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Dr. Shelly Oberoi, leader and former mayor of the Aam Aadmi Party, joining us. Zaira Shah Halim, activist, and Dr. Akashdeep Muneem, political analyst. And so over the last few days, a lot of discussions have been on what's going to be happening next. What is the government going to do next? Let me begin with Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, has the Modi government conceded to the protests, to the demands of the protesters, or is this the government's way of showing that we are listening? This is a democracy. We're always listening to the people.
You know, I'm glad you asked me that question. And while it may sound cliche, let me repeat that whenever a protest happens, it is a very evolving and challenging dynamic for any sitting government. And I think Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, they've handled this brilliantly. They are not guided by arrogance. They're not guided by hubris. Now you can debate and discuss the fact that, oh, Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation was perhaps a tad too little, a tad too late, because that is what critics have been, hollering about for the last couple of hours. But the limited point is this. Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation is only one part of the overall, discussion. The more important point is that it is the Modi government which first brought out the national education policy in 2020 after 34 long years. The last education policy was way back under Rajiv Gandhi, 1986. The second and very important point is that the Modi government brought in the Public Examinations Act, Prevention of Unfair Means, 2024, and we are going to bring a new bill to amend that when the cabinet sits tomorrow. The third and more important point is, I always say that, policy apparatus needs to be strengthened when you're dealing with systemic issues. And the Modi government categorically said that come 2027, the NEET exam will be held in CBT format and not in OMR format, which is vulnerable to malpractices. And don't forget, this is the government which has actually allowed the NEET, G and CUET exams to be held in 12 regional languages, including Marathi.
Okay, so you're saying a lot of reforms, but Sanju Verma, do you think tomorrow, as we are going to see the parliament reconvene again, do you think the opposition is now going to allow for the reforms to be brought in, for the bill to be brought in against the paper leaks?
That's a very good question. I would like to take just a few seconds to call out the hypocrisy for rabid opposition. Honestly, your audience needs to listen to this. Revant Reddy is not just the sitting chief minister in Telangana. Revant Reddy also handles the education portfolio. In the last few months, I'm not talking about 2 years back or 3 years back. In the last few months, there have been multiple paper leaks in Telangana. Has Rahul Gandhi asked Revant Reddy to resign? No. In Karnataka, there has been, multiple paper leaks, the SLLC paper leak, PUC paper leak, veterinary exam paper leak. Has Madhu Bangarappa, the education minister of Karnataka, resigned? Has DK Shivkumar been asked to put in his papers? When multiple leaks happened under Siddaramaiah, did Siddaramaiah resign? Tab Rahul Gandhi और प्रियंका वाड्रा के मुंह में दही जम गया था. And coming to the Aam Aadmi Party, look at the play of words. When there is a pharma officer's exam, when a leakage happens in Punjab, the entire Aam Aadmi Party cabal says, "Oh, ये तो cheating racket था. ये paper leak का मामला नहीं था. Excuse me, this was a paper leak." Fair and square.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll talk about the opposition rule states as well in just a moment, but just to get a sense of what can happen next, and since you spoke about critics as well, I just want to take in a word from Dr. Akashdeep Puni on what next, because now the protesters have said very clearly that our demands have been met and we are happy with the government agreeing to our demands. We are calling off the protest. But it doesn't look like the opposition was too happy with it, because there are multiple demands that have come in. TMC now says Amit Shah must resign. Rahul Gandhi now says, as hinted at, a regime change. You have the DMK that says NEET in itself should go. So where does the opposition go after this, Dr. Akashdeep Muni? Or are you saying that we are also happy, the government has done what we wanted, now let's let the parliament function?
See, Prathibha ji, on this Kargil Vijay Divas, I want to congratulate the youth of this country on reclaiming their democracy back. Now when the people in power have understood the power of people, there are two questions to the Home Minister, under whom the Delhi Police and RPF is. And that's what is going to be debated tomorrow in Parliament. Who approved the use of lethal force, including pellet gun, against students? Where the men in plain clothes, and we have seen many videos, beating students with lathis, police personnel or volunteers. Who are they? Who authorized their deployment? We all know Sahil Locha, the 19-year-old student, Gen Z student, who sustained multiple pellet injuries, including vision loss in the right eye, plus pellet guns in lung and near the heart. Other protesters also faced pellet guns, and one journalist reported pellet guns also. Tell me, who made Anurag Kumar the Delhi Police Commissioner under whom this happened? Amit Shah ji. So CJP has said that they will be going to court against
protesters have
police
said that they are happy with the decisions that the government has taken. The government has also said no cases against these protesters, and the protesters are happy with it. Is the opposition now looking at new opportunities to continue this protest?
Prathibha ji, I am sure that you have heard Saurabh Das. He has said that they will be going to court against the police and RF, against what they have done. And this also brings us to one more question, that how the media worked in these things. We all know that some portion of media talked about links of CJP with China, US, Bangladesh, Nepal, etc. After the clarification of External Affairs Secretary.
You also saw how the media personnel were also assaulted in the protests. They were assaulted in the protest, and we covered all sides of it. I'm sure you're aware of it. But let me not deviate from that. Let me bring in Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari on this, because I want to ask, has the wind been taken off the sails of the opposition, and is that why they're so unhappy? Or did the youth of the country also show these traditional parties that we don't need you, and the opposition parties were actually left in the dock, that they couldn't even set sail, because the youth had already decided, we have certain demands, we are going to ask the government to do that, and the government listens to us. That's all we need.
Good evening, Prathibha, to you, the viewers, and the fellow co-panelists. The multi-billion-dollar authoritarian BJP empire that was on a shopping spree for MPs, claiming a two-third majority before the start of the parliament, is on its knees. A tainted minister has resigned. A barbaric Home Minister, General Shah, has to respond to the parliament. with pellet guns fired, with brutalities on daughters of India, their clothes torn, the police acting like thugs, using all kinds of nasty, inhumane, vulgar stances on daughters of India, caught on camera. Amit Shah, who claims to be the Iron Man of India, is the Home Minister. It's a very simple question. He should either give an interview to his favorite channels across the country and say why did he order this kind of barbaric action against students of India.
Okay, so you're saying that it has now become about the police action.
When his own son is the head of a multi-billion-dollar ICC empire.
Okay, but you've said very clearly, and Dr. Akashdeep Muni and Ghanshyam Tiwari has made it clear that now the opposition, Sanju Verma, is only going to concentrate on the police, the action of the police officials in the national capital.
You know, Prathibha, first and foremost, I take strong objection to Ghanshyam Tiwari's offensive language against the Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Don't forget that after 72 long years, we had triple talaq, which was revoked, and there was not a single incident of violence. Thank God for Amit Shah. Don't forget that nationalism ended after 59 years, and no incident of violence was reported after the end of nationalism in Chhattisgarh and India. Thank God for Amit Shah. Don't forget, after 69 years, Article 370 was abrogated. Thank God for Amit Shah. So Amit Shah does not need lessons in propriety from Ghanshyam Tiwari or the Samajwadi Party. But coming to your question, I always believe that there is no room for lawlessness. Be it students, be it protesters, be it professional Andolanjeevis, be it the police force. When it comes to, taking action, we cannot be discriminatory. There have been professional Andolanjeevis who hijacked the protest under the garb of working for student welfare. Should they be questioned? Should action be taken? Yes. But bona fide students, they should be spared the rod. So I'm very clear. Please differentiate between bona fide students and malafide, malcontent elements who were there to politicize and get their 15 seconds of fame. My last point. Times now two journalists, Shefali Nigam and Dev Kotak. Their clothes were torn apart, they were brutalized, they were heckled, they were beaten up. But pura ka darbari ecosystem does not want to stand up for media, which was doing its job. ACP of Connaught Place, Vivek Bhagat, was grievously injured. Tab Akhilesh Yadav ke muh mein dahi jam gaya. ACP of Punjabi Bagh, Jay Prakash, grievously injured, fighting for his life in ICU. As Rahul Gandhi condemned the attacks against Jay Prakash and Vivek Bhagat,
So is it selectively politically targeting? Have these protests become a selective political tool? Ghanshyam Tiwari, was it really about accountability in the education system, or was it something else?
Prathibha, your viewers notice that I only spoken 2 sentences. BJP has spoken 20 sentences. I have spoken 2. If any of your viewer can do a basic Google search, that is the party that has most number of criminals, 800 people with criminal charges who are MP and MLAs, the 1900. People with most furgy degrees. If you are a criminal in India who has a political dream, Amit Shah is your dream merchant. He can make you a CM like in Bihar. He can make you a deputy CM like a CM in Uttar Pradesh. He can give you the dream that you need.
So, Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, my question is, what was this protest about? Was it really about accountability? That's my question. You've made multiple charges against the BJP. We can keep another debate for that. My question for you about the protest is, was this protest really about the issues of the students? Was it really about accountability in the education system?
It was a protest against a government that decided be a part of the exam leak mafia and rob the future of students, because of which more than 21 students committed suicide. The government did not listen as students sat in protest, and then General Shah came in and ordered the police to unfurl the most barbaric atrocity on students especially
Okay, you are again coming back to that. Sanjay, I'll come to you in just a moment, because since the opposition is saying that it was about accountability, we must talk about what's happening in Punjab, we must talk about what's happening in Himachal, and we must talk about what's happening in Karnataka. Dr. Shelly Oberoi, the Aam Aadmi Party has been really at the forefront of these protests in the national capital. Are rules different when it comes to Punjab? Because in Punjab, we heard the Education Minister say this is the collective responsibility of the cabinet. You have the Chief Minister come out and say, no, but this is not a case of paper leak, so then there's no need for a resignation. Are rules different when it's Delhi and different when it's Punjab?
Hey, first of all, I would like to thank you, Prathibha, for giving me an opportunity to give comments on this. First of all, what happened in last few days, the CJP Andolan, I think it has given a true example of the power of democracy. It was a victory of Indian youth. It was a victory of every parent who stood with their children. And it has clearly shown that democracy is all about accountability and answerability. And as far as the Punjab, what is being the negative propaganda being spread by the Bharatiya Janata Party and the misleading information given by them, I'm clearly saying on the national television that in the last 4.5 years, not even a single exam or a paper leak has happened in Punjab.
Okay, but was
it is a negative propaganda which has been spread by Bharatiya Janata Party, because Bharatiya Janata Party seem uncomfortable. Because
was there a cheating racket in the pharmacy recruitment examinations? Was there a cheating racket? Were there not irregularities that they are protesting against?
Cheating racket, and I think that the statement has been clearly given by the CM Punjab, the Education Minister, that it was a cheating racket and the action has already been taken.
So if it's a cheating racket, there should be no resignation. What are these rules? Is there like a spreadsheet? If it is a paper leak, then resignation is warranted. If it is a cheating scandal, then it's okay. Tushar, so the rules are different, because in Punjab, it's not a cheating case. It's a cheating case and it's not a paper leak. So why are you asking for a resignation? Even in Karnataka, DK Shivakumar has clearly said DCs will be held accountable for question paper leaks henceforth. So any questions on Karnataka can be directed towards the DCs.
Look, Prathibha, Aam Aadmi Party is known for its hypocrisy. In 2020, 2021, they were the ones supporting the Singhu border protest. And in 2024, 2025, they were the ones who removed the same farmers from Shambhu border in Punjab. So Aam Aadmi's party hypocrisy is going to be a book in itself someday. But I was listening to some of the panelists here, and I shudder to think that on the occasion of Vijay Divas, our forces, they do not treat them as humans. Pathar mare, gali di, you are abusing them in the choicest of words, you're pelting stones on them, nothing about it. Ghanshyam Tiwari can call the Home Minister General Shah. Ghanshyam Tiwari doesn't have the guts to say who were the stone pelters, why aren't they be booked, why are the protesters making a case for stone pelters demanding that no action being taken against them. This is the Samajwadi spokesperson, a regional party that doesn't care for member of the forces. What kind of, political discourse we are creating where we talk about democracy? Akashdeep Puni says democracy has been restored. Which part of democracy allows forces to be pelted with stones? Which part of democracy allows CRPF jawans to be abused only because they're doing their duty? Which part of democracy allows to call a CRPF Modi ka kutta? Which part of democracy? These hypocrites sitting here, all they wanted was a protest to piggy bank on, because their own political party cannot do anything at the EVMs or the electoral booths. They can't win the trust of the people, and they're rejoicing. This kind of democracy. The CJP was a political project. No one is a fan of the BJP for giving them a pedestal. But if you're going to tell me CJP had reclaimed democracy and the Union Home Minister who wiped out Naxalism, something the Congress couldn't do for 50 years, is a general, then I'm sorry, the Samajwadi and all these other political analysts, they need to actually get a lesson in what is democracy. Because tomorrow, if they start running a government in a state, and the same anarchists then attack the forces, attack the bureaucracy, attack the mystery they are running, then they'll come on the same TV debates and say, "Arey, media dekho coverage nahi de raha, media to ye kar raha hai." अपनी गलती कोई नहीं मानेगा, प्रोटेस्टर्स की गलती कोई नहीं मानेगा, बाकी दुनिया में हर कोई गलत है, मीडिया भी गलत है, एंड मीडिया को गाली देते हैं ये, और फिर मीडिया के ही पैनल पर आकर बैठे हैं. This is the hypocrisy I want to call out. You like the protesters, support them, but do not support the kind of vandalism, arson, and violence that was being conducted there against the Jawans, especially today on Vijay Bus.
Okay, all right. Saira Shah, what started off as student protest, it did it seem like it was hijacked by the political leaders? Was there where the problem came in? Now you have different demands coming in from the different political parties. What next? That's the question, because now it looks like every opposition party has completely different demand and the rules don't apply for any of the opposition rule states. These rules are only for BJP.
See, the point is, it started off as a very spontaneous meme on social media, which capitulated it into a nationwide movement. And yes, other political parties would give support, like the left gave support. I think Congress gave support in a few states. So you can't really say that political parties are piggy banking on a moment. I mean, what happened with Aam Aadmi Party during, a previous movement, right? Which was taking accountability for corruption-related crimes. Now here, if you look at this entire movement, it was a 66-day sustained protest, peaceful protest at Jantar Mantar, which was followed by a 26-day hunger strike. So even sustaining this kind of movement is not been very easy. It had to be sustained. And yes, I mean, the left did give a lot of support. There were people from the left who were fasting with Sonam Wangchuk and everyone else. So point is that there has to be some kind of federal law enforcement also, right? Because if we look at this organized exam cartel, it's a cartel. If paper leaks are happening, that means we need to investigate, how this exam cartel is allowed to operate. Because right now, decentralizing the admissions back to state university restores the access and reduces the single point of failure vulnerability. I think that is what we can actually look at, because right now it is the whole,
But the question is, shouldn't it be the same rules for everyone? And that's the question. Ghanshyam Tiwari, until now, yes, we were also debating, the entire conversation was around the education system, was around the NEET examinations. But there are questions on what happens in Karnataka, what happens in Punjab. Why does the opposition then suddenly stop speaking about accountability and the cause of the students?
Prathibha, the protest was led by the students. The General Shah's police acted in barbaric way against the students.
Ghanshyam Tiwari ji, I'll request you, let's keep it to the points. I'm sure you have certain points to make as well, and you can be factual when you are responding, because let's keep our debate to what the issue is. Because when it comes to name calling, then it will be the same from the other side, and we're going to end up wasting the viewers' time. So I'll request you, please talk about the facts of the case. And my only question to you again is, until now, we were questioning the government on the accountability. Now the question is, if it's about accountability, what about the opposition rule states?
The students of the country have proven that they don't need to depend on politicians to make the political class listen to them. And students of the country know that which is the political class that is installing an authoritarian multi-billion-dollar empire on India. That is on a shopping spree in parliament, that is claiming a 2/3 majority, but does not have a courage to face students. So I don't have to sit here and say what the students have to do. Students today have proven to themselves, to their parents, and to the entire country that if a government does not
are the students of Punjab or Karnataka the sons and daughters of lesser gods? That's my question. Aren't they students as well?
The students, as I said, maybe you are not understanding. I'll repeat. The students do not need you, the media, that has a bias, or they need me to politicize. They speak for themselves, and they make even the powerful multi-billion-dollar authoritarian regimes with a so-called third majority in parliament.
Tiwari, I understand your anger. Sanju Verma wants to respond.
I want to tell Ghanshyam Tiwari, Amit Shah, Narendra Modi don't need lessons in propriety from the acolytes of Akhilesh Yadav, whose father, Mulayam Singh Yadav, revoked the Anti-Copying Act which was brought in by the Kalyan Singh government in 1992. When people from Samajwadi Party talk about paper leaks taking the moral high ground, it's like pot calling the kettle black. Ulta chor kotwal ko daante. Shant ho jao. Amit Shah ke baare mein ul-julul baat karne ki zarurat nahi hai. My main point, taking off from what Tushar said, I have always maintained throughout this, tenure of the protest. Freedom to dissent is absolutely fine. It is a fundamental right. But say, Modi mar gaya, hai hai. Amit Shah mar gaya, hai hai. 370 वापस लाओ, CAA को आग लगा दो, संसद भवन आग लगा दो, संविधान को आग लगा दो, मेरा लिंग मेरी मर्जी, मेरा जेंडर मेरी मर्जी. Come on. These are not slogans by bona fide students. That is why I say differentiate between professional Andolanjivis and students. Rahul Gandhi stands with professional Andolanjivis. Rahul Gandhi cares too who's about the student community. And my final point, Prathibha, to the Aam Aadmi Party, which said that there has not been a single leak in the last 4.5 years. These are 8 paper leaks in Punjab under the incompetent Kejriwal model / Bhagwant Mann. Very quickly, Nayab Tehsildar recruitment exam, PSCB class 12 English board exam, Punjab state teacher eligibility test exam, PSSSB group B recruitment exam, agriculture development officer examination, combined group B recruitment exam, excise and taxation inspector recruitment exam, and the pharmacy officer recruitment exam.
Mrs. Verma, just tell me one thing, that shall we punish the Punjab education minister for being declared, the Punjab being declared as the top performing state as per the Niti Aayog report? Have you seen that report of 2026? Shall we punish him for establishing School of Eminence? Shall we punish him for introducing the AI curriculum in the school? Shall we punish him for sending the teacher principal abroad for the training? We were in Delhi at that time also introduced number of education reforms which were nationally and globally being appreciated by everyone.
Okay, Sanju Verma is responding even as you speak. You're getting a real-time response from Sanju Verma.
Mrs. Verma, और जो आप बात कर रही हैं कि how those goons were sent by BJP in the protest. Do you know this man? His name is Satyam Pandit. He was assaulting the students, the youth in the protest. जो लाठीचार्ज शुरू किया, peacefully the students
को कोर्ट कर दिया, मत लिया तो नीति आयोग की धज्जियां उड़ा दी. The same नीति आयोग which your point said,
but the goons sent by the Bharatiya Janata Party,
despite the economy size in Punjab being only 8
attacked on those,
which means Punjab's debt to GSDP is almost 69%. The same
Prathibha ji, I think BJP is uncomfortable that why Arvind Kejriwal supported that.
Okay, so Tushar Gupta, when the protest is in Delhi, these are genuine student concerns, but when it's in Punjab, it's just politicizing the issue.
The people will see through it. There are elections just in 6 months in Punjab. The people will see through it. Let's not pretend that the people of Punjab do not see through the theatrics of the Aam Aadmi Party. But you know, Prathibha, it's been 32 minutes into the debate. I still haven't heard any of those from the opposition or supporters of the opposition say that, yes, it was wrong for stones to be pelted on our Jawans. That, yes, it was wrong for them to be abused. That, yes, it was wrong to heckle the media persons. That, yes, it was wrong to sort of molest or, injure Times Now journalists. None of them will say so. They will all pretend to be democracy ke thekadar, but they all perhaps love anarchy. How can someone on July 26th be okay with CJP protests having goons that were pelting stones on Jawans? क्यों नहीं बोल पा रही है? इतना डर किस बात का है? You like the protest, go support it. But why are you so submissive? Why are you so scared? Why are you so frightened to call out the violence? What kind of attitude is this? This is something I do not understand.
You want to respond to that, the question on silence. On all the opposition leaders, we are not just talking about any one person. There has not been a word of condemnation on the kind of violence that broke out during the protest. And again, I ask you about the question of the opposition rule states, because it comes back to that. Accountability and, you say moral responsibility, and all of these words are very flowery when it comes to the center, but suddenly the opposition can't hear a thing when it comes to the opposition rule states.
Prathibha ji, Saurav Das, the spokesperson of CJP, has clearly said that anybody attacking the reporters are not with them. No, they are not CJP protesters.
Okay.
They are not. He has publicly condemned it. Unfortunately, your panelists have never heard him. But interestingly, additional DCP, Sandeep Lamba, who slapped a woman in broad daylight, who should have been booked under Section 76 and should be thrown behind bars for 1 year.
Okay, police excesses are wrong. If the protesters were indulging violence, if that is wrong, any police excess is also wrong, and we have spoken up for that. Dr. Akashdeep Puni, I want to ask you, Karnataka Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar says very clearly DCs will be held accountable for the paper leaks. How is it that in the case of NEET examinations, you say administrative changes are nothing but a scapegoat for the government, and these are not the changes? The top person must resign, the education minister must resign. Does that same rule not apply for Karnataka?
Very good question. Just listen to me. 152 paper leaks happened in the last 10 years for this situation to come to this. And not a once conviction. एक आदमी को convict नहीं किया गया. 10 साल में 152 पेपर लीक हुए हैं, मैडम. और आप मुझे पूछ रहे हैं कि ना कि भाई कर्नाटक एक हो गया, ये सब है. 10 साल में हुआ है.
तो जितने नंबर बढ़ेंगे उसके हिसाब से रेजिग्नेशन होगा. That's what you're saying. So Sanju Verma, you have multiple responses. In Punjab, it's not the same because it's not a paper leak, it's a cheating scandal. In Karnataka as well, you are citing one example, so that's unacceptable. So every state has a different rule. There were different rules for the NEET exams. We're coming to a close. Sanju, your closing comments on this, because the opposition has been very clear. Tomorrow the discussion is going to be on the police action, and there will be silence on the opposition rule states, because there the story is completely different. There it is politics.
You know, there is this famous quote by Tennessee Williams, you know, that the only thing worse than a liar is a liar who is also a hypocrite. The opposition is a rat bunch of liars and hypocrites. What makes the BJP different is the fact that we take cognizance of feedback. We take cognizance of the problem at hand and we resolve it. 2012 में I am from Maharashtra. Prithviraj Chauhan was the chief minister. 39 paper leaks. कांग्रेस दरबारी इकोसिस्टम के मुंह में तब दही जम गया था. भूपिंदर हुड्डा was the chief minister of Haryana in 2012. राहुल गांधी, प्रियंका वाड्रा ने एक बार भूपिंदर हुड्डा को कंडेम तक किया. 2022, Ashok Gehlot's own son Vaibhav Gehlot was involved in the Rajasthan recruitment paper leak. Did Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Vadra oppose that? अखिलेश यादव के मुंह में तब दही जम गया. मतलब अशोक गहलोत के बेटे का जब नाम आए तब सारा का सारा इकोसिस्टम चुप हो जाता है. पृथ्वीराज चौहान ने कुछ किया या ना किया हो तब सारा का सारा इकोसिस्टम चुप हो जाता है. भूपिंदर हुड्डा के अंदर इतने सारे पेपर लीक हो गए तब सारा का सारा दरबारी इकोसिस्टम चुप हो जाता है. सारी नसीहत सिर्फ बीजेपी को देनी है. मोदी गवर्नमेंट वॉक्स द टॉक. That is why we have won 3 Lok Sabha elections in a row, and that is why we rule 78% of India geographically and 76% population-wise.
Let's see, it's the people who are going to decide, and there are still elections that will be held. For now, is it that the street still holds veto power over executive resistance in democracy, or is this what democracy is? The protesters or the people decide what's going to happen. The government has decided. Let's see if there's going to be politics around it. Tomorrow, the parliament session is going to be very important. It's a day that the country decides, are we going to have stricter anti-paper leak laws, or again, will it be muddled in the politics? Just a few hours to go, and we will continue getting you those updates. Unfortunately, we'll have to leave that debate on this. Thank you so much for all our guests for joining us. But our conversation on another very important story still continues. Remember, over the last few days, the buzzword has been Gen Z, the youth protest. So now the question is, should 21-year-olds be a part of the parliament? Should Gen Z be given greater opportunity at actually participating in India's democracy? So the CJP protest at Jantar Mantar showed how Gen Z united to have their voices heard, their demands were met, and the student protesters also decided to withdraw their agitation. But should Gen Z be restricted to merely expressing their dissent? And we want to hear from you as well, viewers. The numbers are flashing at the bottom of your screens. Call us and tell us what you think, because the conversation has now started with the Telangana Chief Minister Rahul Reddy believing that it's time to give Gen Z greater representation and opportunities in the democracy. He says that the youth don't get a chance to speak up and have their voices heard in the parliament, because currently the eligibility age for contesting the Lok Sabha elections is 25 years. So the Telangana Chief Minister says the time has come to lower the minimum age to 21, to have 21-year-olds be in the parliament deciding the laws of the country. Listen in.
If you put a 25 years cut-off date for contesting Assembly and Lok Sabha, so it is not going to get a chance to raise their voice. So that is why I have told this is the time to take a call on this. So for Assembly and Lok Sabha, they have to reduce up to 21 years, and Council and Rajya Sabha, they have to reduce up to 25 years. Then only the youngsters are going to get opportunity, and I would suggest we have to open doors for this Gen Z, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha.
So the ages are different for many elections, because for the Gram Panchayat and municipalities, the minimum age for contesting is 21 years. For Lok Sabha elections and also for the Assembly elections, it is 25 years. For Rajya Sabha, it is 30, and for President and Vice President, 35. The question is, should 21-year-olds be allowed to not just vote, but also participate in the Lok Sabha elections? Because this is about Gen Z. The last few days, we've heard so many times that Gen Z want to be heard. They feel that they are not heard enough. So should we have them in the parliament, or is 21 too young to be in the parliament? We want to hear from you as well, viewers. Call us. Tell us what you think. We have Mr. Sarangan joining us from Bengaluru. Good evening and thank you for joining us. What do you think?
See, at the age of 21, it is too young even for them to understand. Parliament is not.
Okay. So you're saying they're too young to understand. We're facing network issues, but thank you so much for joining us with your thoughts. You're saying that they're too young at 21. Tushar Gupta and Dr. Akashdeep Muni continue to stay with us. And Tushar Gupta, are they too young? Because already you're seeing protests on the streets, with many saying that the politics of today in the country, and India has one of the youngest populations. About over 60% of India's population is under 35. So should we have a younger representation in the parliament?
Then why stop at 21? Why not 11? Let's reduce the voting age to 9, and let's have people as young as 11 years old in the Lok Sabha, because people who post on Instagram can get a following on Instagram, apparently know everything about policy. Look, the people in the CJP protests, none of them was in the age group of 21 to 24. They all were 30 plus, all their spokespersons, all their promoters. They might want to look like students, like a lot of Bollywood actors, but in reality, they were not students. And if you get it to 21, my worry is that only the family dynasties will be in a beneficial position, because they'll have that capital to further their kids, or, somehow who's within the family for a political position. Young aspiring politicians will obviously miss out. But again, my question remains, why then 21? We are a young country. Let's put it at 11. Let's have a toddler batch also in the Lok Sabha. Let's if we are going down that path, let's take everything non-seriously. Let's have a toddler week, a Freaky Friday in the Lok Sabha.
You can vote at 21, you can drive at 21, you can drink, so they are considered adults. Dr. Akashdeep Muni, do you think that there's no need to lower the age? It's at 25 currently, because there's a certain seriousness to it. There's a certain experience that is required, because it makes the laws of the country, which is why the parliament should continue to be at the age of 25, the minimum age being 25. What do you think?
See, Prathibha ji, I will not trivialize the issue and talk about toddlers. I would make my point and let the viewers decide. Now, the minimum age to appear for UPSC, Civil Services Examination, leading to IAS, IPS, IFS is 21. 21-year-old can already contest and hold position in local body elections like Panchayat, municipalities, mayors, Zilla Parishad, chairpersons in many states. Now, voting age is 18, as you said. If citizens can choose representative at 18, then why not fight elections at 21? The gap to becoming representatives themselves at 21 is a modest one and logical. Interestingly, if a 21-year-old can become an IS officer, mayor, Zilla Parishad chairman, why can't they become MLA or MP? 50% of India is under 25 years. So why not they are allowed to rule? Parliament is aging. You remember, average age of Lok Sabha MPs have risen for 46%, 46.5 years in first Lok Sabha. It means that in 1952, the average age was 46. Today, the average is 56. So we are choosing more aging people. European countries are allowing parliamentarians to run at 18. Australia, Canada, and others are commonly using 18. Others are using 21 as an age group. Recent reforms in South Korea lowered candidacy age from 25 to 18. Lithuania lowered from 25 to 21.
Okay.
My point is that why not 21? If an IS officer can become IS officer at 21, he can work under the politician. So why not the politician can become a politician?
Okay, okay, that's an interesting thought. Do stay with us. We have our viewers also joining us in the conversation. Mr. Gopinathan joins us from Chennai. Thank you for joining us. Do you agree with Tushar or Akashdeep Muni? Do you think it should be lowered to 21?
Muralidharan. Hello?
Yes, go on.
My name is Muralidharan.
Okay, Mr. Muralidharan, my apologies. Go on.
I am of the opinion that voting right age also should be increased to 25, not 18 at present.
Okay. Why do you think voting age should be increased to 25?
And the minimum age for Lok Sabha entry should be at the age of 30 only.
Okay.
Not at 21 as Rahul Reddy says.
Okay.
If you fix up qualifications for politicians, even Rahul Reddy will not come as a chief minister. He will not be qualified for that. Then how can he say that any should be given an opportunity?
Okay.
They will not understand what it is.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for joining us. So that steers the conversation in the exact opposite direction. Mr. Dinkar, do you agree? Some saying that not decrease, we should in fact increase even the age for voting.
And these people must be enemies of us. Thank you. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.
Mr. Dinkar joining us from Mumbai. Mr. Dinkar, go ahead. Okay, all right. We don't have him on the line. Bhargav Trivedi joining us from Ahmedabad. So, Bhargav Trivedi, what do you think? Okay, all right. My sincere apologies, but I request our viewers to join us and we will connect with you in just a moment. So, Tishar, you seem to be, of the opinion that what our viewers said was absolutely right. Should the discussion actually be on the exact opposite tangent?
See, you get what the sentiment is. I wouldn't go that far on numbers, but Abhi Akashdeep Muni said the average age was 46 years in the first Parliament of India. In 1950s, the average life expectancy in India was 31, 32 years. So if someone was making it to the 40s or the 50s, they were either quite privileged or quite blessed. Now your average expectancy is 75, 78 years. That is the problem with performative politics, which our youngsters indulge in. They focus on one simple number and make a hero out of it and think they know everything. But you have to think about things in correlation. You have to join a lot of dots, and that is where experience comes in. Akashdeep Muni said that, UPSC allows 21-year-olds to appear. I've in fact been saying this for a long, long time, that even in UPSC, you should have a norm where you make work experience of 3 years compulsory before someone can appear for an IAS, IPS or an IFX exam. You need to have some real-world experience before you become a part of the government, because otherwise then you'll become another Babu, another Neta who has no understanding of the ground and is just creating policies with no head or tail.
Okay. Interesting. In fact, overhaul in multiple things. Well, let's bring in some viewers as well. Venkatesh joining us from Bengaluru. Thanks for joining us. Where do you stand on this issue, Mr. Venkatesh?
Prathibha, actually, I feel this is a ploy to make our children uneducated. See, to be eligible for a MP ticket at the age of 21, you have to start your political career at 16, and you will be compromising on your basic education, which is a difficulty for the normal people.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for joining us. Ramki Murugan joining us from Madurai. Is that your thought as well, that at 21, the people or the students should rather be preparing for life and they should not be looking at politics as a career at 21? It may be too early, rather.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, this is a total absurdity in the name of democracy. Because even people don't get matured by the age of 21, and getting elected people at 21 to send them to Lok Sabha and it will be for mockery of democracy. For instance, I tell you, in Tamil Nadu, recent election held, the TVK had come into power. You know, one of the most important reasons for them come to power is 90% of the people who are aged between 18 and 21 must have voted for TVK. That's a simple reason.
Yes.
Of course, democracy is for the people, by the people, fine. But it should not be so absurd. So I simply detest the idea of Mr. Revant Reddy.
Okay.
It is absurdity in democracy.
Okay, so absurd is what you're saying. All right, thank you for joining us. We have Vipul Tandon also joining us from Delhi. Mr. Vipul, do you also think it's an absurd idea, or do you think it might just work for the country? Mr. Vipul Tandon, can you hear me? Okay, all right, we can't hear him. But Akash Puni, very quickly a response from you, because it looks like the overwhelming sentiment from our viewers is that it may be a bit too early to even have that conversation on lowering the age.
Prathibha ji, first of all, I must thank the other panelists take my name so many times. You know, it publicizes me. Coming to the facts, a PSC, Parliamentary Standing Committee, by the Modi government, on personal and law and justice, led by BJP leader Sushil Kumar Modi, recommended lowering of age of elections from 25 to 18. So I'm sure that BJP will be miffed with Tushar Gupta.
Okay.
Not standing with BJP.
Okay, but you know, the conversation was beyond Tushar Gupta or BJP. It was just about what the people think, and we heard from a lot of viewers as well. It's an interesting conversation, especially considering over the last few days. Tushar, very quickly, we're running out of time.
Akash Puni, that's the difference between you and me. I'm not obligated to speak for a party or agree with everything they post.
All right, let's not get into the personal tip here, but I get the sentiment because you're both on the other sides of the line, and we heard from the viewers as well. The Telangana Chief Minister believes that the youth of the country has spoken and it's time for lowering the age. Is it too early for that or not? We leave it to you. I'm thanking our guests for joining us this evening and thanking our viewers as well for joining us. Good night.